this 3-part series, we're going to take a look at how to wash, condition, and style natural hair in depth. In the first video, we discussed everything that has to do with how to cleanse and wash your natural hair, how often you should clarify, affordable over-the-counter products, how to easily detangle your hair as you shampoo, and common scalp issues. In this video, we're going to talk all about conditioning natural hair, the role of your conditioners, best brushes to use, how to tell if a conditioner is of quality, how to get the most out of your conditioner, hydral fatigue, porosity, and product application, especially when it comes to your base gel.
I'm going in with a deep conditioner now. So this is going to sit on your hair for a bit under the dryer.
Oh, what conditioner is that, girl? Look at
her. Chapadora Quinoa.
I've always wanted to try that one, but they're from the UK and shipping is like 3 legs.
They are expensive, yeah. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, I'm so excited to try it though. Oh, girl, put it all over my hair.
So the reason I'm using a deep conditioner on Jen's hair is because it's been 2 weeks since she washed her hair, and to me that's long, and so we need to put back what has been removed. So people who are washing their hair weekly using a great shampoo and conditioner, etc., you don't have to deep condition your hair every single week. Okay. But anytime like you go longer than you should, or like let's say you've come out of braids, or you're about to go into braids, or something is happening with the hair, you do want to use a deep conditioner.
Okay, interesting. But you don't need to deep condition or condition and deep condition in the same wash day.
No, you don't. Usually, I like to mix my deep conditioner with a normal conditioner. Actually,
because
I'm gonna do that today. So you can get benefits of both. So this is a protein conditioner, and then this is like just a normal hydrating conditioner.
Okay.
So you can get both like the hydrating benefits of this, which means like just the extracts and stuff that I was talking about,
okay,
as well as a little bit of the protein. So usually I don't recommend people just do a flat out protein treatment on their hair with like Apogee. I'd rather they use like a conditioner that has protein in it than like just raw protein on the hair. We bring that out for like dire emergencies.
Okay.
The hair must be like almost falling out for me to pull out the real protein treatment.
Oh, this is with heat?
Yeah, this is good. So it doesn't always have to be under like actual heat. You can just like
let your body heat the thing.
Okay.
There's nothing like touching your hair after a good
I know, right?
Conditioning session. Now you're gonna get me to spend all my coin on
this looks good, right? Conditioner, before you actually start detangling with it, you want to dip your hair back into the shower water, let it foam up a little bit. I'll be using the Felicia Leatherwood, but you can also use the Tangle Teaser or like anything that's basically not the Denver brush. I love it for and honestly, the Denver brush is for blowing out hair. It's like those round brushes that we go like this and then like dry the hair. But that's what it's like made for.
And it has so many teeth. Well, actually, with the Tangle Teaser, do you find that in your experience it causes single strand knots?
I haven't used it enough to say that it does, but I can definitely see it doing that because it does have too many teeth on it.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, you want something that when you brush your hair, like it doesn't spring back so short. Basically, it's kind of keeping its elongatedness to it. Yeah. And so the way I tell whether a conditioner is quality is if it starts to produce this kind of like foamy shampoo looking consistency. So the AG conditioner does that, the Intercept conditioner does that, Chapadora does it, as well as some Mio conditioners will do it as well. I'm still on the hunt for more like drugstore things that
I've used some Maui Moisture ones, ironically, and it does that.
Okay.
As long as you add enough water to your hair.
Yeah.
I found that it's adding water.
Yeah. Add water to whatever conditioner like you're using at home. Anyone watching this and see like what happens. Honestly, conditioner and water need each other, and without water being added, you've just put conditioner on, but for it to really do what it's supposed to do, you need to add some water to it. And don't be afraid of adding water. Like, you can add water multiple times to it.
And what is a conditioner technically supposed to do? Shampoo is supposed to clean your hair and scalp.
Mm-hmm.
Conditioner is?
So conditioner is for smoothing and closing the cuticle back up. So shampoo lifts the cuticle because it has a higher pH than hair, and conditioner is supposed to close it. And so that opening and closing is how water gets into the actual hair strand. A lot of people feel like, oh, my hair is low porosity and all these other things, but how often is water entering your actual hair strand through shampoo and conditioning? So shampoo is not just to clean the hair, but like I said, that is how water actually gets into the hair strand. So think about that next time you're looking at like a moisturizing product, because a lot of products on the market are like, oh, I'm a moisturizing leave-in or moisturizing whatever, but really, what are they really saying? You know,
Yeah. So it's all key terms to get you to buy the products,
right? And that's not to say products don't help to retain moisture, because they absolutely do. You do need to, we're not saying just wash, condition your hair and go about your day. You do need products to help that water not evaporate so quickly, but basically what I'm trying to say is don't mistake the products for being the moisturizer. The product is there to retain the moisture that came from the water going into the hair strand. So spray bottling your hair with water every day is not moisturizing it, because
just because your cuticles didn't open up.
Exactly. So your hair will be wet. Yes, it will be soft and easy to manipulate. So that's what you're feeling, not necessarily moisturized.
So on that note, is there such a thing as hydral fatigue? Is that something that's just been blown up on the internet?
That is such a good question. I think people who wet their hair every single day do tend to have a gummy feeling to their hair, and so that's really where those are people who need Olaplex the most, because the bonds have completely been broken every single day. So there are different things that manipulate the bonds of the hair as water, heat, and then like chemicals. So people who, let's say, flat iron their hair all the time, they're breaking the bonds with heat all the time. And then people who are wetting their hair every day, that's breaking the bonds with water every day. So, yeah, anything you do in excess is going to have some side effects to it. And so it's not necessarily that you should be afraid of hydral fatigue, but it's more so when you're just letting water sit on the hair for no reason. The cuticle hasn't opened, it's just there. So yeah, re-wetting the hair all the time, I wouldn't say is beneficial. I think people should shampoo, condition, style the hair in any style you want. It doesn't even have to be a wash and go. It can be a twist out, braid out, anything you want. You can braid it, put a wig on it, and call it a day. But I think the crucial part is the water getting in the hair strand, which is through shampoo and conditioning. So as long as you're using a shampoo that makes sense for what you're doing to the hair, you should be okay. Keep it simple. I think long wash days happen when you do go longer than a week. If you want to stretch it, that's fine. Like maybe you can go 10 days, 12 days, but even a whole 2 weeks on the times where like you really need to push it.
That's the thing for me. Like, it's harder for me to detangle my hair when I wait, say, 2 weeks. The longer I wait, the longer it gets to do. Like, the harder my detangling periods get. Exactly. So if I'm very consistent with between, say, I don't want to say 5 days, because I never do that, 7 days, then it's so much easier for me to detangle my hair.
Absolutely. And it doesn't take long for the hair to get wet on wash day. So people who feel like, oh, my hair takes forever to absorb the moisture. Yes, it will take forever if it's been a long time since the hair last touched water. That's normal. Like, even for somebody who is quote unquote high porosity, it'll still take a little bit longer than normal because the hair has been away from water for that long. So yeah, for those who are afraid to start weekly washing, just keep in mind that if you just detangled your hair 7 days ago, it didn't get enough time for it to tangle again.
Yeah.
if you like had a trim and stuff like that.
Okay. Should we worry about porosity the way that we do?
No, and I know that's gonna ruffle feathers, but yes, hair having different porosities is a real thing. Absolutely, I agree with you on that. That is true. But a lot of people identify with the porosity and then like make it part of their identity instead of realizing that porosity is something that changes, or it's a changeable thing. It's not something you were born with, like, oh, I just like was born with XYZ porosity, because that can change at any moment. Like, the hair is more porous right after shampoo because the cuticle is open, like, and then it's less porous once you close it. So it just depends on what you mean. Most people think it's a characteristic of their hair, like permanently, but once you adjust what you're doing to the hair, your overall porosity can change as a result. So I get a lot of people who will first come to me and they identify as having low porosity hair, but once they start like washing their hair weekly using quality products, as in plant-based products that work well with water, then their hair doesn't have an issue accepting water, because everything they've been using is water friendly, and the hair drinks water pretty much every week or twice a week sometimes. So for anyone who's like nervous to get started, I say just, there's no harm in trying it. There's no harm in like take a month or 3, actually, because like I said earlier, your first few wash and goes aren't going to be great depending on what you've done to your hair. If you're someone who has been protective styling for the past year, like years and years in a row, and then you want to wear a wash and go, it's not really going to look its best, and that's okay. Like, don't take the pressures off your hair looking a certain way, because you won't know until you've been consistent. Your wash and go today is not going to be your wash and go 6 months from now if you're consistent. It's not really a hair. That's why we say it's a lifestyle, not a hairstyle, because people are treating it as like a look, but we're really just capturing what the hair is doing. Yeah, so if you have heat damage, it's going to show.
That's what it is. If you
have other things going on with the hair, is going to show. So think of it as like your hair and its habitat. I guess.
Just let your hair be. You want your hair to be as healthy as possible, and just kind of capturing that. Well, let's talk about protective styles for a second then. So what would you say are best practices for protective styles? Because, I mean, let's face it, people are going to do it. Someone has a specific question about how do you keep your hair moisturized, say, in a 2-week protective style without using oils and butters. And the third question was still around best practices, which is like, if protective styles are going to damage your hair no matter what are your recommendations for people who don't like to manipulate their hair often? So it's a lot. The people want to know.
All right, let me marinate on those thoughts for a little bit. In the meantime, let me walk you through how we're applying products. So after you rinse out your conditioner, as you've seen, I've put Jen's hair into 3 sections. You could do 4, 6, however many makes you happy, but typically 3 or 4 is enough. The more sections you do, the longer this is going to take. So after you rinse out your conditioner, do the sections, and then you're going to wet each section right before you put products on. So we're going to wet, apply product, clip it away, wet, apply product, clip it away. So water, like I said, is the moisturizer. We just need products that are going to help the water not evaporate quickly. And so that's why we're going to go straight from water to product instead of like needing a leave-in right before we put the styler on.
Do we even need leave-in conditioner? For
this hairstyle, no. You can use a leave-in for, let's say you're going to do a twist out and you want something underneath the mousse. You can put a leave-in on first and then the mousse. The reason it's not necessary for a wash and go is because we're trying to define your curl pattern. You don't need something that has oil. Like, it's hard to find a leave-in that doesn't have oil butter in it. Like, it's just not possible. And so for this specific way of wearing your hair, like trying to enhance your curl pattern, you don't want anything that is going to not mix well with like the plant extracts and the water. So a lot of people who have flakiness with wash and goes, like, not what you're calling flaky, like at the end of the week, but like actual visible flakes on the hair that you can see from across the room. Those people usually put some kind of oil-based something underneath the gel, and it doesn't mix well together. This is Uncle Funky's Curly Magic.
The goat.
The goat. So basically, that's just gonna stop the water from dripping from the hair. That's usually how I tell whether a product holds water well or not. Is once we apply it on soaking wet hair, like you don't see as much. You don't see any water really dripping out of it. It just kind of holds it in there. And so you open it and just make sure it's from roots to tips on the inside. So first you put it on the outside of the section, then you open the section and get it on the inside of the section. Notice how we are not really raking yet, we're just kind of smoothing it in. I think people get overexcited to rake the hair, but smoothing is more important.
That's a whole other conversation. Because for me, I still find, for my liking, that my wash and goes are taking too long. But I'm out here raking and doing all kind of craziness as well. So
you immediately dip that section of your hair in the shower water, and the water is warm. And then don't give it a chance for the water to escape too much. Get your pumps and like put it on.
do you have any, say, other recommendations other than Uncle Funky's?
The Miel pomegranate custard is good. Another good base is the Kinky Curly leave-in, and yes, I said leave-in because that's what they're calling it.
Okay,
but it has the same consistency as yeah, it looks like a custard. So the reason that one is fine is because if you look in the ingredients, it doesn't have any oils in it. It's just plants, and then it also like provides some hold as well. So, and it also stops the water from dripping from the hair. So just try different things, see what it's doing to the hair. The point is we want to lock the water onto the hair.
How can you stop fine hair from tangling during the styling process? Someone's having problems where they find it's always hard to rake the product in their hair.
So I would first ask, like, when was the last time the person got a cut? If it was recently and they're still having that issue, I'm gonna guess they have very maybe fine strands that are tangled easily. So you could use it's okay to use a brush after you apply product to the hair already. That's okay to do. So that's a good way, and just monitoring what temperature the water is when you're applying the product, because if the water is too cool, sometimes it can make the product not work in the way it's intended to.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're having a hard time getting through it, they probably didn't add enough water to the hair either. So, and it's okay to put more products on the hair. I mean, more water on the hair after you've
added the products.
Your topper. So a lot of people think, oh, I put water in the hair before I put my base products on, so I'm good. But it's okay to add water again, like even when you've put your final products on.
Okay.
So that can give you some more slip too.
So this is more around methodology of a wash and go. Some stylists say it's better to do it on damp hair. Some say it's better to do it on soaking wet hair like you're doing right now. What are your thoughts on that? And does it last longer if you use it on damp hair?
Wow. These people came with a question.
Girl, they came through.
I haven't heard of gel wash and go being done on damp hair. I would be curious to see what that does. I won't say anything bad about it since I haven't tried it, but the logic behind using it on very soaking wet hair is that water is the moisturizer, is like the theory behind that. I think it depends on your climate that you live in. Yeah, so for somebody who lives in a very humid climate, I can understand why they wouldn't want to do it on soaking wet hair, because then there's too much water in the hair and then too much water in the air, which is it's too much water going on. Yeah, too much water in the hair, too much water in the hair just kind of doesn't go together. So for someone in a dry climate, it makes sense that you would want all the water in the hair and the humectants, because you don't want the lack of moisture in the air to like draw out the moisture from your hair, so dry your hair out basically. So you want to have extra like insurance of water and humectants in the hair.
Okay.
In dry climate, you do want to do
you
it
want
on
a lot of
soaking wet
water
hair.
just because the whole point is to keep the water in your hair.
Right, and in a humid climate, if you want to do it on damp hair, then sure. But I think you would get a lot of flaking if you use these specific products that I'm using right now.
Without enough water.
Hair. Yeah, because they're like kind of sticky.
So, in your experience, mousse or gel for better definition?
Gel.
Those are easy
Mousse
ones.
for volume, gel for definition. If you want both, you can use both. But I think most people, what they want can be achieved with just using gel. I think mousse is great for like a quick wash and go that you just need to do real quick and leave the house, but just know you'll have to like redo it. A good tip for people who, let's say, are more on the dehydrated side and they're trying to get into this, is to let your base sit for about 10 to 15 minutes before you put your topper on. The humidity inside the shower cap is going to like allow the product to marinate, and then when you put the topper on it, you're going to get more of that foaminess. A lot of people tell me it doesn't foam up for me like it's foaming up for you, and usually that is why.
That's why.
Yeah, so I usually like will put a cap on it and then let you like sit for like 10 minutes or so before I continue.
Okay.
So at home you can like put your cap on, shower your body, do what you need to do.
The last video is going to be all about styling a wash and go. Tips, tricks, and everything that you need to know.